All right. Hi, today we're going to look at lesson 2. Lesson 2 is on the centers, and I would recommend that class I did, Centers, Conditioning, and Consciousness, just to say it took me a very long time to understand what the beginning of human design was, what you needed to know. And so I came up with the understanding that centers were sort of primary to you having any chance to have your own direct knowledge. And that is through the process of observing how centers you have defined work and centers you might have undefined feel being conditioned. You know, the main thing in learning to read the body graph is that there are only 9 centers. They have keywords. They are pretty basic for you to play around and observe how they work. So if we start with the top, it's the head center, and that is the center of inspiration. If you look at it, you can see that it only has the chance to come into a definition with the Ajna center. And so let's say you can be inspired in your thinking or inspire others, but you have to be able to express it, and that is the ajna, getting to the throat. The mental attitude or facility expresses itself through the throat. So the throat is also the center of manifestation, and so of course that's a very big deal. This will determine the doing and waiting. Now, you can have definition not involved with one of the motors, but still defining the throat. And that is my chart. I have a channel from the ajna to the throat, and one of my lessons has been talk is not action. And so over the time, I did learn how to observe that somebody wasn't listening to me. No problem, I will stop talking. And so what you want to do is have your own library of experience. That means I would suggest you have, let's say, half a dozen of charts of people you know very well, so that you can observe how any of the definitions work or any of the undefined centers don't work quite the same. It's very important in learning to read the body graph that you get the difference between a defined center and an undefined center. You also are benefited by observing your impact on someone else. That means it doesn't necessarily just happen in those centers that are undefined. You also have the chance to observe how it works otherwise. Okay, centers. As I was saying, I did this class, Centers, Conditioning, and Consciousness, after trying classes with the 4 types, which didn't work at all. People didn't get it. And so, no problem, no harm, no foul, but it is no way to enter into the body graph. What happens is it forces you to look at just a few things, and you don't actually have anywhere to go. If it is, okay, I got that, you're a generator, what now? But I would say our process of learning how to read the 9 centers is the essence of what you need, and you can do it yourself. There are just 9 centers, so you can see with people who have a center defined how they act versus those that have a center undefined. That is how you will end up with an authentic voice. So let's see, the next center down is the G center. The keywords you might see are identity, love, and direction. So give it a try. How does that work? I mean, it's different if you have a channel defining the G7 to the throat 31. That is not going to be the same as the 10 and then spleen 57 or 10, throat 20 or 10, sacral 34. They're all going to be a little different. One of the things that happened to me was that I did understand the channel names completely confuse you. I mean, I was totally great. Oh, a design of something else. Anyway, I liked them, but it distorted my understanding. That means, look, if we look at a channel, we are looking at 2 hexagrams, 2 centers, and at least 2 planets. That's kind of different from just coming up with this name and trying to fit it into an understanding. The hexagrams will help you more. Okay. The first center that was so obvious to me was the heart center. And I think that is a good teaching tool. It always was. I would get that I was conditioned, and I could be on the phone talking with somebody and get so aggressive and argumentative. I tell you, I knew that was a heart center connection, and I was always right. I talked to one person that you have to verify that you're right. And the only way you can do it is by having enough charts. So lesson 2 is on the centers. The solar plexus we know is emotional. The sacral, sex, money, power, that is the sacral center. Spleen, center of well-being and feeling good. root, stress, security, survival. They are the themes there. Let's see, did I forget anything? No, I think we have just our first introduction. Okay. I think those classes that are already available are very good. Anyway, next is the hexagrams.